G'day, welcome back to John a Day. So this is probably going to be my last one, definitely for the year, maybe forever. So I thought this time I'll do something a little bit special. So what I've done is I've gone and read the passage with my family, and we've shared our thoughts on it. So I'll read out the passage now, and then we'll hear my family's thoughts on the passage. Today's passage is John chapter 9, verses 13 to 23. And it's just after Jesus has healed the blind man, and now the Pharisees are coming up to the blind man to ask some questions. From verse 13. They brought to the Pharisees the man who had been blind. Now the day on which Jesus had made the mud and opened the man's eyes was a Sabbath. Therefore the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He put mud on my eyes, the man replied, and I washed, and now I see. Some Pharisees said, This man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath. But others asked, How can a sinner perform such signs? So they were divided. Then they turned again to the blind man. What have you to say about him? It was your eyes he opened. The man replied, He is a prophet. They still did not believe that he had been blind and had received his sight until they sent for the man's parents. Is this your son? They asked. Is this the one you say was born blind? How is it that he can see? We know he is our son, the parents answered, and we know he was born blind. But how he can see now, or who opened his eyes, we do not know. Ask him. He is of age. He will speak for himself. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders, who had already decided that anyone who acknowledges that Jesus was the Messiah would be put out of the synagogue. That was why his parents said, He is of age. Ask him.
My light bulb is it seems to be yet again another healing on Sabbath. Is it a coincidence or not? Or did John maybe only record the ones that were controversial because they were on Sabbath? Or perhaps that's when people were around people gathering together on a Sabbath, so that's when people had a need. Or was Jesus going out of his way to heal people on the Sabbath? Could be a bit of all three.
Also in verse 16 and 17, the people are arguing about whether Jesus is from God or not because he was doing stuff on the Sabbath, and then they were saying that, well, he can't be a sinner if he's able to do stuff. So, and it says that they're divided, and that's what Jesus said that he's come to do. He's come to divide people, and we still see that position today.
I might add on to that because, for my application, it was kind of what you said before when we were discussing. For my application, I think it's kind of an application and light bulb kind of mixed together. It's the fact that when Jesus went to speak at the synagogues, he was deliberately being provocative and causing a bit of controversy, which is something that we sometimes see today on Twitter. Although the difference here is that Jesus actually had a reason for it. He wasn't just going there to divide people for the sake of it, but he actually had a point to prove. And as Dad pointed out in our discussion, he might have actually just been going there not for the purpose of healing, but he had compassion on the people who were being healed.
About the fact that they were questioning the parents about, was he born blind, and their doubt in his blindness. I don't know if it's just a question or a light bulb, but I just that big stood out to me. I guess I just wonder about that part. Yeah.
Our question is about, we don't know what the Sabbath is.
Yeah, we don't know what the Sabbath is.
That's cute. Ruth, do you want to answer for them?
Ruth, do you know what the Sabbath is?
Ruth, you want to look at the camera and tell them what the Sabbath is?
The Sabbath is a day where we don't do any work. It's people's day off. It's God's day of rest. Like when God made the world, He had a day of rest, which was the Sabbath.
Mm. And so I guess, yeah.
How can they not know? Sabbath was Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, like Saturday, like a day off.
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday.
And so,
Saturday was.
and so, do you see why the Pharisees were getting a bit upset that Jesus was healing on the Sabbath?
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to do any work,
Because they're saying,
including
why
healing.
are you doing work on the Sabbath?
Yeah.
Why are you doing work? That's a day off. They were very, very, very Jewish and religious, and you don't do work on the Saturday.
I'm sure it wasn't much work for Jesus at all, though.
Mm.
I don't think it was a lot of work for him. He picked up some mud.
That's it. Do you think it was much effort for him, much hard work for Jesus to heal? To just go whoosh and heal?
Not really. I mean, he's the most powerful, and so having power to it. I mean, he was able to make people and all this. He was able to make the world. So that would be like nothing
A cinch.
compared to that.
Just get a bit of mud.
Yeah.
I have another comment, Josh.
I think
Since it was the Sabbath, they did no work, and it was really easy because he just slapped some mud on the guy's face and he was healed.
Yeah.
it was very, very easy.
Yeah.
Why was the blind man blind?
Why was the blind man blind? That's a good question.
Because otherwise he wouldn't be a blind man if he wasn't blind. He'd be maybe a curtain man. I have a question about they said we know he can't be from God because he doesn't keep the Sabbath. Well then, if he is able to heal, where do they think he got the powers from? If it wasn't from God.
Mm.
I think there was another passage in the Bible, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, where people believed that he was driving out demons from Beelzebub. So maybe they think that he's like
divided.
They also have said that he's demon possessed before, so perhaps they think that he is like demon possessed or does it for demons.
Mm.
Comes down to it, like they'll find any reason as to why they're right and he's not. You know, so yes, it doesn't seem very logical to us, but they didn't want to believe that he was.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too different from today, where a lot of people will come up with excuses to justify their beliefs.
Yeah, to deny the truth, like the Earth is flat.
Mm.
Ignore all the evidence.
Mm. So thanks for joining me in the book of John over this course of time. I hope it's been beneficial to you. I know it has to me, looking through the book of John and seeing everyone from our church get involved. It's been really encouraging. And I pray that whatever we go with next will be equally as encouraging.